And why don't you introduce our next guest? You set this segment up for us.
Absolutely. Although I'm looking at someone who said they did the walk and now she has Lyme disease. The person has Lyme. Okay.
Right, so take some bug spray.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we all have different things that we're taking. Well, I'm happy to introduce our first guest today. Kristie Hadley is the new president, CEO of the Martinsburg-Berkeley County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm happy to introduce her as someone who is just so involved in the community. She's been with BCT the last decade plus, and this is just a natural fit for her. Just the reason I'm introducing her, I'm actually the chair this year of the Chamber of Commerce. So we did an extensive local search, and Kristie came out at the top, and we named her, I don't know when it was, last week. It feels like, yeah. So I will turn it over to her and let her talk about what her plans are for the chamber.
Thank you, Maria. I'm excited to be the new CEO of the chamber. I've been involved with the Chamber of Commerce, as you said, with BCT. Probably, I think I've done 3 terms with the chamber on the board of directors. Very heavily involved in a lot of our activities that we do, events and things of that nature. So I'm excited to be heading up the chamber this year, going forward.
Kristie, this means that you have to stop working at the bank, correct? This is now your new full-time job?
This will be my new full-time job, yes. Starting May the 1st, I'll be with the chamber. And yes, I did sadly have to leave BCT, but as Maria said, it's a progression for me. I love working with our business communities and especially the small business. So looking forward to doing that from a different perspective with the chamber. Give
us the Kristie Hadley story. How did you get to this point in life?
Wow. Okay, so the Kristie Hadley story, she was born and raised in South Berkeley. Always, my family lineage goes back many decades from there. Let's see, my husband and I have 3 adult daughters. We've raised them in the north end of the county because we did not want to have that let's see, how do I want to put that? Everywhere we go, they go, oh, Mom, is there somebody that doesn't know you or Granddaddy? And so on the north end of the county, it's a little bit different for them. So we've raised them. But I started in the banking career when I was 19 years old, started at Old National Bank. And from there, just moved up. So 31 years in the financial industry. And
you said that before the show you graduated from Musselman in 1993?
That is correct, yes.
Did you get into any activities or sports when you were at Musselman High?
Let's see. I did play volleyball, I think maybe 1 year, and basketball 1 year. And honestly, I am not the athletic type. I did it probably because my friends played, so it was fun just doing it.
But if you played volleyball, you were one of the trailblazers that set the school up for future success.
No, I was not the trailblazer. My teammates probably would have been the trailblazers for that. But again, I was just there as the cheer on the sideline. So
well, I appreciate your modestness.
Absolutely.
We'll find out years from now, Bill, that she set several records in volleyball and other sports.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, you say you raised your daughters in the northern part of the county. Which school did they go to?
They went to Hedgesville. They graduated from
How
there.
much competition was in the family between Musselman and Hedgesville?
Well, it was interesting at the games. And yes, we would attend the Hedgesville-Musselman games whenever they played basketball, football, whatever, at both locations. So, yeah.
And you'd sit on one side and your daughter sit on the other side of the stands?
No, we would sit together, and I may have on, a little bit of blue and gold with like a red apple on or something. So still supporting both because both schools are great.
Yeah, they really are, yeah.
So one of the things that was so impressive about Kristie, and again, all local, we decided that as a chamber executive committee that we would cast not necessarily a wide net, but see who came in locally, because we had a sense that there was going to be a lot of interest in this position. And there was. I think we had 15-something resumes, and we decided to interview 7 of those folks. And when Kristie came in for the interview, she handed out a 90-day plan of how she wanted to move the chamber forward, your first 90 days in office, so to speak. And I was like, well, here you go.
I could
but
see how
again,
that would appeal to you.
Yes, yes. But she is, a consummate planner. She is highly organized. She knows everybody, and we're just really excited to have her take the helm.
Now, what was in the 90-day plan, Kristie?
A lot of business development.
Okay.
Ultimately, as Maria said, I'm very engaged through BCT with the business development. So just really assessing where we are. We currently have around 500 members of the chamber. So assessing who is currently members, who's not, and then working towards gaining their relationship. I'm all about relationship building. I think that's how you grow your business or organization. So that is a huge part of it. Also, I have a really good relationship with individuals in the community, the SBDC,
SBDC.
Carol Goldsby, Small Business
Okay,
Association,
thank you.
because
Yep,
we did a
yep,
lot of
yep,
that lending
yep.
And things of that nature, so working with them. So really just working on a plan to bring some education and resources that, from the chamber standpoint, that we can help with the small businesses coming into the community.
Because 500 businesses, and everyone recognizes the Cloroxes and the P&Gs and the Macy's, but the heart and soul of any community is really small business.
Yes.
And what we heard, Kristie was at the helm of planning the Washington trip. Thank you for that. But what we heard from some of the folks who went along was that they really needed some a little assist in how can a small business succeed, so we heard that, and Kristie recognized that right away.
So you were on the board for, you say, 3 terms previous to this.
Yes,
and I'm sure you have a better feel for the chamber and its strengths and also its weaknesses than if you were just coming in for the first time. Looking past the 90 days, looking down 5, 6, 7, 8 years, is there something much more ambitious that you'd like to see that to try to implement for the chamber?
Can you ask me after 90 days and I get in and assess
Yeah.
things as I shared with
Sure.
those
Okay.
that interviewed with me, until I can get in and see the inner workings of how the chamber is and where we are and what things we totally have in place, then I'll be able to assess what the next 4 to 8 years will look
Okay,
like with
sure.
the chamber.
Because we are a very busy chamber, and there are lots of events and lots of mixers, lots of Rise and Shine breakfast, lots of women's network, lots of trips to Washington, and all of the things. And from being in that line of work, I can say events they suck the life out of you. And right now, there's Kristie and Natalie Klein, our longtime marketing person. We actually made a move just a couple of months ago to outsource the financials. We had a person who did sort of admin, finance, financial work, and decided that from a standpoint just for, just hands off and have somebody else take a look at that. So now there's 2 full-time people. We recognize that because of the busyness and the business of the chamber, that at some point we will probably need to add an admin type person. But for now, Kristie wants to do an assessment. So.
Let me come back to my question from a different way.
Sure.
And you're uniquely positioned to do this. In fact, you were raised in the county.
Yes.
And raised your family in the county as well. As head of the chamber, what would you say to someone as the most endearing attribute of Berkeley County?
Oh, wow. There's so many great attributes about Berkeley County, but honestly, I think it's the people. It's the people that's here that really has that drive to want to see to build a better community. And I'm looking forward, as the Chamber CEO, to work with the individuals in this community to build a better community. I want our chamber to be in the top 500 chambers of the nation. I want us to be where people come in and they want to come to us, and we don't have to start seeking out chamber members. They go, oh, that's the Berkeley County Chamber. They're doing so much for the business community. I want to be a part of that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Certainly,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think too, clearly, clearly the people in the community, we do recognize the challenges. I mean, it's not surprising that you drive down any road and see housing developments, and we recognize that the chamber has a role in terms of advocating for the business community, understanding the implications of growth and development and how that all fits. Because, we hear all the time, we hear on the show that, we don't need any more. We don't need any more people. Well, that's a tough one. So
it is. The great thing is I have a great rapport with Robbie Blair Main Street, with the ladies over at the Development Authority, and actually we've already had conversations on how the three of our organizations can work together to help with our business community. So looking forward to that relationship continuing as well.
Kristie Hadley, our guest here on the program. She is the new president and CEO of the Berkeley County Chamber of Commerce. So what does local business need? You worked in banking 31 years here in the community. You saw an awful lot of them and a lot of different capacities in the banking field. What do you need to do?
What do we need to do? Let's see. Just educate and resource the small businesses, because there's so much out there that individuals don't realize. One of the great things also is I advocated from the community banking standpoint on things with regulations, that were to help the consumers and things of that nature with the small businesses. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to the chamber and bringing the education and resources to our business community. We set up through BCT what we called our signature series events, and we would have like an insurance company come in, or succession planning, things of that nature, just really to help the organizations succeed. Because ultimately, if you're not planning and not realizing what's out there, then you're setting yourself up, in my opinion.
And I think from my standpoint too, what we see a lot, and we've had, I don't know, it feels like 10 ribbon cuttings in the past 2 weeks, or groundbreakings. We go out, we cut a ribbon, we, wish the business well, and then to try and engage them, to get them back, to have them mentor other businesses. We don't see a whole lot of that. So we recognize that we need to be more than the groundbreaking ribbon cutting facilitator, so to speak. So
exactly. I think that's a great way to put that, Maria.
Do we know how many licensed small businesses or businesses, period, there are in Berkeley County, and what percentage belong to the chamber?
I do not.
Give me about 2 weeks and I'll let you know that answer to that question, because that is at the top of my list to work on.
What do you suspect the percentage is?
Well,
I don't know. When you think about 500 members and think about the vast array of businesses here, I mean, would you say a quarter, an eighth?
I'd say maybe an eighth, because some of our members of the chamber are not housed in Berkeley County. They're also Washington County, Jefferson County. You've got Morgan County who are members as well. So that's why I said it'll take me a little bit to assess exactly how much business we do have just out of the Berkeley County, and then start working from there on and expanding our network out.
What do you suspect the reasons are for businesses to not be a member of the chamber?
I don't think that maybe they understand and the realization of how much we can assist them as being a chamber by promoting their business, helping them understand how to make connections to different organizations where everybody's feeding into everybody.
I was just going to say, I think from anybody that has a relationship, anybody that's in a business recognizes that in order for people to be served, they need to have value. And I think that's one of the things that we need to really stress is, what value does this have? Someone asked online, do we advocate for businesses? We actually did just because we haven't talked enough about the microgrid data centers bill. We actually did a resolution.
Yes.
While we are apolitical, we do take a stance on things that we feel would positively or adversely affect businesses in the community. And we did send out a a resolution about that. So same thing with like school bonds, levies, that kind of thing.
I was going to extend that to a different subject, and maybe you or Kristie, one of the two of you. What does the Chamber's role with the schools? How is the role with the schools, and how should it be developed?
Many years ago, not many years ago, a couple years ago, we had a very active business education partnership that the Chamber was very active on one side and then the school system on another. There were events, all kinds of things that we would do together, and then COVID happened and we never really got back to that. But one of the things that I was pretty pleased about this past year is the Leadership Berkeley class and other of the young professionals in the community did take part in some of those mock interviews at some of the schools. We think that that's a natural alliance among the two groups. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again. So.
Yes. Another opportunity that we have is we love to meet the new teachers. So we host the new teacher breakfast in August and just let them know the resources that we can provide them from the standpoint at the Chamber.
I did not realize the Chamber hosted that.
We do.
That is a wonderful event. So.
It is a great event.
Kristie, what would you like your relationship to the State Chamber to be like or develop into?
I am still learning about the State Chamber ultimately, but I definitely want a great relationship with them because ultimately they'll be able to provide us resources here that we can bring to the Eastern Panhandle. So definitely want a great relationship, and that is also on my agenda to meet our new State Chamber.
And while we are a member, it's kind of an umbrella. You don't report to them, just so people sort of understand that relationship tier there. So.
Oh, so what is a relationship then? You do not report to them? Do you?
You're a member. You're a member,
okay.
And they, as Kristie said, they provide resources, education, that kind of thing. As a rule, the State Chamber is probably takes several more stances on some political. Things than local chambers generally do.
Nobody at this point really knows the ultimate effect of tariffs, and day to day you don't know who's tariffed and who's not. So are you developing any kind of plan or strategy for small businesses who might be affected by that?
We'll be working on that and talking with the whole board of directors on how we can work on that. So absolutely.
That seems like a thing where if you're running a small business and you're suddenly adversely affected, you'll need somebody to give you some sound
guidance.
advice.
Yes,
absolutely.
Right. We have a minute left. Did you have a final question, Bill?
No, Kristie, thanks for joining us today. You were a little nervous, you said, coming on. It would never show. You handled it like a true pro, so well done.
Thank you, Bill.
Let me just state she's wearing Musselman green.
She is wearing Musselman green.
Right?
Go Appleman.
Once an Appleman, always an Appleman, right?
Yes, sir.
Kristie, final thought is yours. 20 seconds.
Again, I'm looking forward to reaching out. I'll be putting a newsletter out along with some questions because ultimately I want to know what the business community needs. I don't want to just create something and it not be beneficial to that organization. So stay tuned. After May the 1st, don't hesitate to stop by or give us a call at the Chamber, and I'd be happy to meet with individuals.
Thank you for coming on.
And the Chamber's where?
It is next to Apple Annie's. It's 1800 at King Street.
Yeah, West King Street.
Next door to Apple Annie's. So stop by, see me, and pick up a cookie.
Okay.
We take our break here.